our next guest used to have an office 3 doors down from the Oval One. Now they have a very popular podcast and a book you could pre-order now. It's called Democracy or Else, How to Save America in 10 Easy Steps from Pod Save America. Say hello to Jon Favreau, Jon Lovett, and Tommy Vietor. What happened? I heard somebody got hurt backstage.
I just cut my finger there.
You cut your... Oh, you're really bleeding. Now,
it was fine. It feels fine.
He touched a wall.
You can't touch walls.
That's what I'm,
yes, they're very sharp back there. Yeah. Thank goodness you have Obamacare, though, right?
Right. Yes.
You guys met while, and correct me if I have any of this wrong, while working for the Obama administration in various capacities, yes?
Yes. Tommy and I met in the Obama Senate office. That's where we both started working.
Oh, early on.
Early on. Yeah. And then ran the campaign, and then Lovett was working for Hillary at the time. We defeated her, and then I hired Lovett. I always like to remind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I knew I was going to get the same job either way, I wouldn't have cared as much.
That's a great lesson, I guess. Don't care so much.
Yeah.
And you guys, we met years ago when during the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you guys had this crappy little office in the White House.
Honestly, that was the better office.
Yeah, that was better.
You saw the nice office.
It was like a bathroom stall, really, is what it was like.
Those
Only
are all the
messier than a bathroom stall.
Yeah.
And you guys were writing at the time. You know, you wrote the Johns. You guys wrote speeches for Obama, and then also wrote jokes for Obama, which is weird. I'd have separate teams for those things.
Yeah, no, you'd think so.
Yeah.
I did better with the jokes than the serious speeches, I think, ultimately.
Lovett was our funny guy.
And then, Tommy, you were working for the National Security Council as the spokesperson. So, like, these guys are writing jokes for Obama, and you're dealing with, like, Ebola, that kind of stuff.
No, literally. I mean, so my job was, I was trying to communicate what the president's foreign policy was through the world. That meant, you know, rolling things out proactively and also dealing with crises, going with him on foreign trips. But when they're, you know, thinking about the joke for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, that happened the weekend of the Bin Laden operation, I'm thinking I'm in the White House the next day, sort of trying to figure out how to roll out the fact that we'd taken out the biggest terrorists in the world. So, yeah, it was a slightly different roles at times.
Right. When Obama had Bin Laden, we got him, was right that same night as... were you involved in that?
It was the night that he made fun of Trump at the dinner.
Right.
Took out 2 in one night.
He did better with one than the other.
Yeah.
One came back.
Yeah, one we kind of winged. We had been working on these jokes all week, and we take it very seriously. It's very important. The Correspondents' Dinner, very serious, and we couldn't get time in the Oval Office with the president. There was never any time. He was always so busy. He was doing calls with generals and having secret meetings. We're like, don't you understand? The jokes. He has to review the material. You have that. I mean, you know.
Well, that's all we have, really.
But finally, it's the day of the speech. We can't get any time. We're standing outside the Oval Office waiting and waiting and waiting, and they finally say, all right, he's ready, you can go in. We go in. It was me and John and David Axelrod, and we take him through all the jokes, and he likes a lot of them, and he gets to one joke, and he's like, I don't like this punchline about Osama bin Laden. I think we should change it to something else. And we're like, great, you got the electoral votes. You can change whatever you want.
It was not funny what he changed it to.
No, what did he change it to?
It was supposed to, he changed it to Hosni Mubarak instead of Osama bin Laden. I was like, no one's going to know.
President of Egypt.
And so we made the change, took the win, because he didn't really have very many edits. And then the next, and by the way, he was nonchalant. He had like a football or like a basketball. Remember, he was like, and now I realize like
chill.
He was very chill, maybe too chill. But it wasn't until the next day we found out that the reason he wanted to change the joke is because he had just moments before we went in there had the final call with a general on the ground to talk about the operation.
So he killed the Bin Laden joke and then killed Bin Laden.
Yes, exactly right.
And we were like, like a couple of Seinfelds who'd like wandered into a Tom Clancy movie, and nobody told us. And we were standing outside. Remember, we were outside the Oval Office.
Like,
and it was
oh, we gotta see him. We gotta figure out the jokes. Come on.
There was
There's all these like counterterrorism people outside. We're like, what are they doing here?
there was like a national security official who had like a really serious look on his face, and I was like, I'm gonna test some jokes on this guy. He gave me nothing.
Yeah, maybe not the best audience to try things on.
Yeah.
Who of the three of you was Obama's favorite?
Ben Rhodes.
Yeah.
None of the above? Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, look.
We're staffers.
Not love it.
Definitely not me. Definitely not me.
Did he ever get upset with any of you guys?
Honestly, like,
He wasn't a yeller. He was like, he did the disappointed dad thing.
Oh,
You know, where
that's
you know
worse.
you let him down, and he kind of went a little quiet on you, and you just felt that much worse.
he was very patient with us for all the years that I wrote speeches for him.
Did any of the jokes that you ran by him, like, really set him off?
Lovett had a tough one once.
This was okay. This is actually a story I shouldn't tell.
Okay,
Like-
good, great.
Okay, so I'm on the road with President Obama. As you said, we did serious speeches and joke speeches. He has to go to a fundraiser after some economic speech that was going to be after Sister Act, the musical on Broadway. Whoopi Goldberg had arranged a beautiful but slightly weird event. And President Obama said, hey, I'm the president. I'm speaking after a musical. Maybe you can give me a joke. And I said a joke off the top of my head. And you shouldn't really do that because he's the president. I'm an idiot. And so, and I said, well, now that you've seen Sister Act, why don't you hear a little bit of my Brother Act? And I know how bad it is. I know how bad it is.
Would you fire him? Would you?
No, not for that. No,
But
no.
and it was like, look, I don't feel like it was the right tone racially. It was a miss. And so he gives me this look of just disgust. Just outright disgust. And he literally looked at his watch and he said, you have 30 minutes till I have to go do this. See if you can beat that. And so immediately, fully sweat through my suit, just water, just a river.
This is your Navy SEAL Team 6.
Yeah. I just crashed the helicopter. It's like a Black Hawk Down situation. I'm down. And so I like pace and I pace and I pace. And I'm like, okay, I need a joke for a dad. I have to do something that I know is going to work. And I said, okay, how about this? And so right before he goes on stage, I said, I hope you all enjoyed Sister Act. It was really great for me, both because it's a wonderful musical and I'm researching convents to send Sasha and Malia after high school.
That's good.
And he gave me a look of approval that wasn't so much that he liked it, but that I got to live.
We're going to take a break. John and Tommy with us from Pod Save America. We'll be right back. We're back with the guys from Pod Save America. This is their book. The title, Democracy or Else, How to Save America in 10 Easy Steps. Is it guaranteed to save America?
Guarantee.
Guaranteed.
That's it.
That's great. We need
Read
that.
the book and you'll figure it out.
Now, it doesn't come out till June. Don't we need this sooner than June? Seems like June's...
We can offer a few tips now.
Can you? All right. Go ahead. Give us a few.
We'll give you a PDF, maybe. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, hopefully everyone's voting, volunteering.
Okay, that's important.
Donate. There's some simple things you can do.
Yeah.
Voting.
We wanted to write a book that help for people who want to get involved in politics but don't want to lose their mind doing so. We figured we would offer some helpful suggestions. How to volunteer, how to run for office, how to organize, best places to donate, how to have a good media diet, and like figure out what's going on in the world. So
I go right to Newsmax myself.
That's
right?
And by the way, there's like opportunities at local school boards, like as we saw from this audience tonight, like they don't even know how to play 20 questions. Like there's like a lot. Like there's just the schools need help, and like maybe there's just places where you can really make a difference, and that's like what this book is about.
I see why you're President Obama's least favorite. You guys, I'm sure you mentioned David Axelrod before. He's the guy that started this thing where people are now saying like, oh, should we replace Joe Biden as the candidate for president? I mean, how does that hit you? Is that even a thing that could happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to Joe Biden. Like, Joe Biden is the only person that is going to decide if he's not going to run anymore. And by, like, all accounts, Joe Biden is running. They have a campaign. It's happening. It is extremely late for any other Democrat to get in. The Iowa caucuses are in January. South Carolina's coming up. Like, there's primary deadlines. So it would just be very unlikely for another Democrat to be able to get in the race right now. And Joe Biden, by all accounts, is running.
And so would you guys say it's not constructive to even float that?
I mean, look, David Axelrod is coming from a place where he cares about the country. He wants Joe Biden to win. He's terrified of what might happen if Donald Trump is reelected. So he's not doing this to try to mess with the Biden administration. I think the best thing that we can all do as citizens is not be hyper-focused on the news and the horse race and the Washington debate, and just turn out in November, donate, volunteer, like get involved, like think about ways we personally can be messengers in our own life to talk people we know into voting for Democrats, into voting for Joe Biden, because, you know, we're all messengers here. Like, we all have social media platforms. We're all better at convincing the people we care about to do something than a TV ad.
So the first chapter in the book is called Learn the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, which is really important to have in politics. None of us can change whether Joe Biden runs for president or not, but what we can do is make sure that Donald Trump's not elected. We can make sure that progressive candidates win. We can make sure that progressive causes get. So, like, part of the book is trying to help people focus on what you can actually change and control and what you can't in politics.
I mean, look, you may not be totally happy with the fact that we live in a country in which we basically have warring, angry grandpas all the time. It's a battle between angry grandpas, and they have some things in common. If you asked them what LGBTQ stood for, and they got 2 right, you'd call it a win. I wish it were in a nation governed by grandpas. They need their rest. But that's the world we have. And so we're ultimately, if nothing changes, we're going to end up having to choose between these 2 grandpas. And they have a lot in common, but they have a big difference. Joe Biden, as a grandpa, believes in abortion rights, raising the minimum wage. He believes in unions. He believes
democracy.
in democracy.
Wow,
Believes in health. Believes in expanding health care. So you have one grandpa that believes in those things, and you have another grandpa that's slightly different, in which he doesn't care if any of us live or die. And that's a distinction, and you can decide which one of those 2 grandpas you would rather spend the holidays with.
Okay, well, I think that's a very reasonable way of looking at it. Well, it's great to have you guys here. The podcast is great, and I highly recommend it. This is the book. It's called Democracy or Else: How to Save America in 10 Easy Steps. It's available for pre-order now, and if we make it till June 25th, it will arrive at your home. Thank you, fellas. John, and Tommy will be back at St. Harrison.